It's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 spoiler review. All right. If you have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy, we are going to discuss spoilers. So, we saw it. I saw it, twice. Saw it twice. I saw it at a screening, and then we went to a press screening.
I'd see it again. It's definitely a...
I don't have the graphic up.
It's definitely a multiple watch.
Multiple watching type of... so, what did you... Overall, you gave it what was your rating for it?
A.
We both started like on A. Yeah, that was our grade for it.
And I definitely liked it a lot better than the last one for sure.
What was wrong with the last one?
Nothing was wrong with it. I'm just saying this one was just they really stepped it all up.
Mm-hmm. I think that this was like I said, this was my favorite. I'm thinking right now I'm still at 3, then 1, then 2. And most people are shocked when I say that. I mean, it's
okay.
even one. Even right now, they're saying that 1 is the better one. We're probably in the minority on that, but I think that it's I think it's 3, then 1, then 2. But it's close, and I might change my mind eventually later on. But the movie started off with we're at nowhere, and Peter's. This is right after the holiday special, and Peter is in his feels. he's in a bad way.
Morning Gamora.
Mm-hmm. And
he's drinking his life away.
So even though he had a Merry Christmas a couple months ago, he's still down in the dumps. When Rocket walks by and he's on Peter's was that an iPod? Yeah. It was on his Apple iPod or something like that. They get into a little bit of a fight. It was like a little funny type of start. And then it goes right into the action, like right away. Let me make sure. Before that, then it was.
I mean, it looks like they're working on the town.
They're fixing the
lights,
putting up the new Guardians of the Galaxy sign. They're open for business.
Kind of just see everybody else, Mantis and Drax being silly, and
while Rocket's playing the music through the speakers, through the loudspeakers. Mantis is trying to convince Drax to dance, and he's all like, "Dancing's for idiots." But when Peter passes out, they made that comment like, "Oh man, not again." They collect Peter, and and it was that scene where Nebula was holding him, and it turns out that was just a fake, like a doll, like a 30-pound fake Peter Quill that she carried. I saw the behind the scenes footage of it. She was like, "Oh my God, it looks too real." It was, she was kind of, she didn't even want to touch it. She's like, "You got to touch it. You're gonna carry it." And but the thing only weighed 30 pounds. That's why she was just, walking with. I thought it might have been like maybe he was being craned in like on wires or something. But no, it was a Peter Quill sex toy. But it looked good. But it goes right into the action. Adam Warlock goes flying right in, and they immediately have that fight right off the bat, and he does some damage. I thought through the whole movie you're wondering who's gonna die. I thought maybe there was a chance that somebody was gonna die right from the get go.
And you saying that he was kind of like a Superman comic in the comics.
Yeah,
his powers,
like their version of Superman. Yeah,
he definitely was giving off that sort of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like his power, because even Drax came out and you thought he was getting him, and no. I mean, and Nebula. I mean, he was whooping everybody.
Yeah, and when he hurt Drax, and caused him like real damage, and they tried to give him medical attention. It worked for everybody else, but for Rocket, it activated something like a kill switch that was implanted in him when he was first created. And Nebula knew right away. And I didn't catch it the first time I watched it, but I was explained later on. And Nebula explains this into the movie. Oh, yeah, I meant Quill. I'm sorry about that. Peter Quill. Peter Lane was asking in the comment section. But if you think about it, Nebula and Rocket were the only ones of the group that weren't snapped. I was telling Joy about this earlier. And they got to spend a lot of time together after Nebula was rescued from space. There are 2 Guardians of the Galaxy that remained. They bonded over that. Nebula and Rocket also were both experimented on, and they had that in common. So
And she does mention that he upgraded
and he
her.
upgraded her and so I'm pretty sure they became real good friends. And you saw it, and then at the end when he bounced back, Nebula showed way more emotion. She covered her mouth and she showed more emotion for Rocket than I've seen her show anybody, even her own sister. So that was, and then it started going into the flashbacks with what the High Evolutionary did to him and stuff like that. Yeah, that was those sad moments. And then when you got to meet,
because I mean,
Lila,
it's animals.
Yeah, I was saying earlier that this was like the PETA people. Like if you're kids and PETA, like you might have a rough time with some of this stuff. But
so yeah, you kind of see how Rocket was born, basically.
Yeah. Then when they moved on, and when Peter set course to try to find the passcode that they needed to save, Rocket. They needed to get the information that the High Evolutionary had. And they went to that planet that was like a living organism. That was when they was wearing those multicolored suits. And that was when Peter tried to have a one-on-one with Gamora.
Yeah,
that everybody could hear.
Mantis is like, we can all hear you. He's like, I thought the blue button went to the blue suit.
Yeah.
And then Mantis goes into this long explanation.
No, the blue is for the green. It was all mixed up. It was stupid. It made no damn sense. But
well, and I mean, Nebula purposefully didn't tell Quill when they were on their way. He just told her when they were loading up, I have a connection.
But he didn't tell her it was Gamora. Yeah.
So yeah, when she shows up, he's like,
it throws him way off.
He was like, well, I mean, she's my sister, so
yeah.
Who'd you think my connection was going to be?
Yeah. And the fact that she was a Ravager,
yeah.
It threw him off too.
He's like, no, I'm a Ravager. You're not a Ravager.
But that was right when we met. So we had some cameos. We got James Gunn. Gosh, I should have pulled up the name of the cast. But James Gunn's wife was there. Rookie, what's his name?
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. We got him. He cracked us up. The way
he's always so
the way he's always good. Yeah, the way they try to cover their butts by he's throwing Drax under the bus, saying, you got one of those guys on your team that's like the boss's son. He's an idiot. And then Nathan Fillion was like, yeah, I got one of those guys. Right there in the picture, I got one of those guys too. And he looks at that guy right there on the side and just looks at him for a long time, just makes him uncomfortable, like you're like calling him out, like, why are you such an idiot? You're a waste of time in this crew. Like the whole everything with Nathan Fillion was just top notch. Had me laughing the whole time. But they were there to get the code that they need to help out Rocket, and that girl that Peter had to flirt with. Mm-hmm. I later found out who that was. She was a character that was in the Suicide Squad, the movie that James Gunn did. Rat Catcher #2, the girl that you saw Suicide Squad with me, right? Mm-hmm. Remember the girl that could control the rats? Mm-hmm. That was her.
I see her picture here.
And I was like, no wonder she seemed because she was a sweet person, and her character was very lovable and likable in Suicide Squad, and she was real funny in this too. She was the one when Peter tried to flirt with her, and he's like, it's like, my charm was working on you, right? And she's like, no, I could tell you were a douche. But I was telling you earlier that it's funny that everybody's all getting mad that James Gunn is always casting his wife into the roles. But every time he brings her into one of his movies, he shoots her. She got shot again. I thought that was hilarious. So don't worry about it. When the mission got complete, what was I going through my notes? When the mission got complete,
he did retrieve the
orb, the thing that they needed.
They needed,
however, the intel that they needed to help Rocket. Yeah.
When they connected him up, Rocket to it, it didn't.
It didn't help him.
It didn't have what they thought it had. The passcode had been taken out by one of the High Evolutionaries.
Scientist guys, and it was the guy from Superstore that we
Nico Santos. This is.
And when the funny thing about he was great too. I loved so that the mission kept going on. It kept going and going. It was like a video game. You have to
Counter Earth, where
you met the High Evolutionaries experiments, seeing them on their own planet, because he said that he visited Earth back in the day, like I guess during the 70s, and he copied. He thought he kind of admired the humans pluck in our spirit, but he
So,
said,
like-
but he didn't like our bigotry, and then that's when Peter
He
was like,
I just saw a meth bat or whatever beat up a. it was
yeah,
their
your plan, yeah,
animals.
your new planet ain't that great either, man, because you got crackheads and stuff all over the place too. And he got on him about monologuing, like, I'm tired of you damn supervillains thinking that you're gonna take over the universe. And he was like, no, I'm not trying to take over the universe. I'm just trying to perfect it. And so I like the fact that his intent wasn't like everybody else's. I'm not here to conquer the world or conquer this. He's already considered a god. He creates worlds. He's like, I'm already a god to a lot of worlds and a lot of beings. I don't care about taking over the world. I'm gonna perfect it. I'm gonna tweak it, make it better. So he thinks in his own weird way, and he's very scary, passionate. The way he's so driven for everything to be perfect. Like he was the reason why he is the reason why I rate Guardians of the Galaxy 3 above Guardians of the Galaxy 1, because I did not like the villain from part 1, but I loved the High Evolutionary. So yeah, he was great. Let's see, Counter Earth. Oh, the whole thing with when they got to Counter Earth and they were trying to get help from the citizens to find a High Evolutionary.
English,
they spoke whatever language they
whatever,
speak there on Counter Earth.
So there's not anybody to translate, so you're just trying to draw pictures and
use your hands and stuff. Drax trying to sleep on the couch. That whole scene was funny as well.
They were kind of doing okay till Drax accidentally slammed a ball into a kid's head, and then that made the whole
town panic.
Yeah,
but they got over it real quick. I mean, it's not like Earth. I mean, Earth, nobody would have been outside. Everybody would have been running. But I guess with being with the High Evolutionary, you obviously you're familiar with spaceships and stuff like that. And then when they moved on to the High Evolutionary blowing that planet up, and
he was like, I know that this planet's not perfect. That's why I'm about to destroy the whole thing.
Yeah, because he's already moved on to his next projects, which were even better than the creatures that he made there. He just throws people away like they're nothing.
And
after he creates them, these are my children, but they're
nothing.
Plan
was that he wanted Rocket back to find out why Rocket was so smart and everything else he's created
and so inventive and
lived up to that level of intelligence.
The intelligence that even surpassed the High Evolutionary, because he figured out something that the High Evolutionary overlooked and didn't see. Rocket just has this ability. He can connect the dots. He's got the knack. Is what I call it. No. Peter's like, wait, you didn't. He's like, you didn't like the Smurf accuser. No, I did not. I didn't think he was. He was very boring. I like that actor in Pushing Daisies, but him as the accuser, and I think he's been back as the accuser on was it what's her name, Brie Larson's movie Captain Marvel. Yeah, I think he's been back. He's a great actor. I just don't like the way they portrayed him as a villain in the first Marvel movie, and I think James Gunn finally got it right. And I liked, what was it, Kurt Russell from Part 2. Mm-hmm. I mean, him as an actor. I mean, he was entertaining, but everything as him being the main bad was just kind of cheesy the way it was. It was too cartoony. And I mean, when you turn yourself into a giant Pac-Man to fight your father as a god, like, it was like you're getting kind of. I mean, it was funny, but I didn't take him seriously as a threat, as a villain, even though he was technically a god, and that was a problem. But no, Ego, the Evolutionary was much better villain than Ego, the Living Planet, or the Accuser, in my opinion. Let's see, Peter got when they were going back to have that face-off with the High Evolutionary, Peter got to drop the first F-bomb in the MCU. That was a great moment. The unlocking of the door, Nebula's little frustration. He's like, all right, now what? You open the fucking door. So it wasn't, because all the other movies that were about to drop the F-bomb, like Spider-Man, they always cut it off right at the last second. But we finally, I guess James Gunn finally was able to, okay, the action's down to this level, not that much blood. I should be able to get away with one F-bomb. I'm surprised Kevin Feige even allowed it, but it worked. It killed. Going on to the next parts of the movie, the flashbacks. Each one of them getting more and more. They were purposely getting more and more sweet, more and more.
Well, and when they downloaded Rocket's data trying to find the passcode, they were able, all of the team were able to actually
Finally, for the first time, see.
They had no idea what all he went through, and so they were just very horrified. Like, we had no idea that he's never said a word. And even you said even Nebula was like, that's worse than me.
Yeah, that's worse than what Thanos did to me. What's up, Counter? Yeah, blowing up Counter Earth. Well, we already talked about that. The whole High Evolutionary just not giving a damn about any of his creations. He's just willing to blow them up no matter what.
Suddenly we're like, dude, you've gone over the deep end.
Yeah,
We're
that
done with
mutiny.
you.
I didn't see that coming.
Like, we're done with you, sir.
Did Moon Knight do the first? I mean, but that's on Disney Plus. Really? Did Moon Knight beat? He did say Moon Knight did say an F-bomb on there in one of those episodes. I guess since the series is chopped up.
I didn't finish watching it,
So
I know you did, but
I didn't. Oh, you're probably right about that. But they said, this was the first F-bomb in the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, okay, I believe you. I mean, you say it, I believe it. Let's going all the way forward into that final fight with the High Evolutionary, when they all ganged up on him and defeated him and ripped that mask off. I didn't notice. I noticed in the flashbacks that his face looked differently and whatnot, but I just thought it was I thought he did upgrades to his own body. I thought he was just upgrading himself. I never put it together that when Rocket ripped his face up, he really ripped that face up. I did not see that coming.
Off, basically.
I'm surprised they were able to get away with that. You had the F-bomb in there, because not that much blood, but that was a bloody face.
Eyeballs and a teeth.
Look what you did to me, kind of thing. I was just trying to make things perfect, and no, that's when we got the speech. You weren't trying to make things perfect. You just hate things the way they are, and that's probably why he was so. It made sense because even when the High Evolutionary's team, and then it showed why that mutiny made sense, because you would think after the way he handled Adam Warlock that like raising a gun to the High Evolutionary was just not smart. It just wasn't smart. But probably seeing the way he was acting ever since he had his face ripped off, they were little by little not wanting to put up with his bullshit anymore. You're too obsessed with this damn raccoon. You're constantly leading off of your own path. You laid this plan out and it's perfect, and you keep contradicting yourself for a raccoon. Like, what the hell is wrong with like the mutiny was a long time coming.
They even pointed out to him that his latest creation were humans, little children that were exceptionally smart, and they were like, look at these, and he was like, no, it's still not right.
It's not right.
It's not right.
Not until I can get what Rocket Raccoon has and add it to. You didn't need any of that. He just wanted to finally get Rocket back. He wouldn't have cared because I think if Rocket would have been killed like long ago and it wasn't done by him, the High Evolutionary would have probably like went into a depression or something like that. He was fixated on this little insignificant nothing thing that he created. That he like these.
Well, and he had Rocket was supposed to be killed.
Yeah, I was about to say these creations that he's incinerated more times than he can count. But this one got the better of him. Not only did he get the better of me, but then before he got the better of me, he figured something out that I was stumped on. He is better than me. He was obsessed. All the things that High Evolutionary created and killed, he still couldn't get over the fact that one of his creations might be better. It's what makes good villains. That's why I love this one more than any of the other ones. But in the end, when they all say their goodbye, what did you think about how the new changes to how it all ended? Nebula deciding to stay back at
run the town.
Run the town at nowhere, lead the people. Drax also staying there to lead those children.
Basically, like be a dad.
Mm-hmm.
Mantis said she needed to find her own.
Find her
Go
own
out
path with 3 battery-eating monsters. That was funny. But before we finish off on that, what I know you had a blast with that hallway fight. No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah.
You were dancing in your seat, even though the girl just
these
sitting next to
Beastie
you was
Boys.
when the Beastie Boys hit. One of the best hallway fights ever. It might be up there with me. Now I'm debating on that hallway fight when Darth Vader ripped up all those people on Rogue One, and this now those two. That's the debate. Which hallway fight was better? Maybe I'll put a poll up on Twitter. But that hallway fight was awesome. But continuing on before we close it out and go on.
I mean, we saved all the little children, saved all the animals,
and they made Rocket the new captain.
new Star-Lord, basically.
Well, no, Star-Lord is Star-Lord, but
Equivalent to, he's running the
he
the Guardian.
But after he had his final fight with the High Evolutionary, through the whole movie, he kept reminding people, just like in part 1 and part 2, I'm not a damn raccoon. I told you multiple times, I'm not a raccoon.
Oh, yeah, he
and at the
finally
very
says,
end,
I am Rocket.
when he saw the other little raccoons in the cage, I am Rocket Raccoon. And then he finally made peace with what he is.
And he took all the raccoons.
Proving that this whole time we were looking at Star-Lord, but this was really a Rocket Raccoon trilogy.
And old Warlock, who has been beaten every which way it
Joins the team.
almost every time we saw him, he had less clothes on because he was getting.
I didn't
crushed.
even. You know what? That's true.
He lost
I
the
didn't
cape
realize
and the
that.
suit. Then he just had one little tattered piece hanging on.
I think people were upset that the way they used him. I don't think that he's like, but they explained it. I mean, he was undercooked. They didn't let him cook long enough, and he acted like a baby.
He was on
Very immature.
The High Evolutionary's ship that was going to explode or crash or whatever, and who carried him across? Was it Drax?
One of
Groot.
them.
It was Groot.
And he was asking, "Why did you save me?"
And Groot said, "I am Groot," and he was like, "Because everybody deserves a second chance."
Yeah.
And so then the Warlock becomes
Becomes one of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So now the Guardians of the Galaxy is I forgot the girl's name. Because one of the High Evolutionary's creations joined the team.
One of the Jib-Jibs.
Yeah,
with
her name. I forgot what that character's name.
All they would say was Jib-Jib. Which Drax
one of them,
apparently speaks.
And this guy on TikTok says that she's a very special character. Cosmo something, or Cosmo the dog, stay behind Groot and Rocket. They're still in the team.
Kraglin.
Yeah.
Like
Pretty much everybody's gone except from the main cast except for Rocket and Groot. They stay behind to lead this new. And the way they did it, I think it will, because it's not like how in the Avengers you had people die, and it's like it's not going to be the same without Robert Downey Jr. or with Chris Evans. They need to come back, and I don't like the fact that they made this new Captain America and this and that and the other. I don't want baby Ironheart or whatever. But with this, you didn't lose anybody, so people can still come back. But the way they explained why Star-Lord had to leave. He wanted to go. He went back home to see his grandfather.
Yeah,
why Nebula left?
Because I think it was Mantis who was like, "Why have you never gone to see your grandfather?"
Yeah.
Oh, he's probably dead. She's like, "No, he's probably 80 or 90s."
Like humans live to be 50. It's like he's like, "You about to die?"
He's like, "I'm not 50."
He was just being stupid, thinking people die that soon. But they explained it. They explained it real good. I mean, Gamora went back to the Ravagers.
But we even see her, like, by the end,
start to care.
She cares. She enjoyed being with the Guardians, but you see how actually happy she was with the like when she got back, how they were so excited for her to be back, and how much they missed her, and how happy she was to.
The problem with what Peter was going through with trying to force it so fast is he forgot that it took. Even when they became the Guardians of the Galaxy, it took her some time to get from what they did. They went through something together, and Nebula wasn't there to try to tell her, you did end up with this dude. Like Nebula was still an enemy to them, so she was dealing with the fact that Nebula was against her, and so leaning onto the Guardians was easier for her back then. But now Nebula wasn't a threat. Nebula was the good person, so she could still be her Gamora bad self. So joining the Ravagers made sense to her in this situation. But in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, she was the first to make the leap and leave Thanos. But in this situation, it was reversed. She got to meet her future sister self and didn't go through any of those emotional situations.
We also forgot, we almost thought we lost Peter Quill. Because remember, he went back to grab that iPod.
For Rocket, yeah.
And the Cosmo the dog couldn't hold
the ships together. And
Peter couldn't jump that far.
I thought that was it.
Floating away, and he started freezing up into the space because he doesn't have a suit, and he's floating, and he starts.
Which is the second time this has happened.
And then
But I thought that because it was the second time it was happening, I thought, oh shit, he's dead. This is it, because it was worse.
That saved him, isn't
it? Yeah. Then Adam Warlock came through and pulled them through.
All for his iPod.
Joining the team, and then joined the group hug.
Yeah, he was like so awkward.
Yeah.
Like, what? You know what?
Yeah, I was just hugging. The guy he was hugging was like, "Don't get off me, man." But Gamora got to see enough things, but the perfect pieces of the puzzle for her to get on the path to falling in love with Peter weren't there. I mean, Nebula was already good, but at this point, that's why she kept deflecting. The things that you keep saying about me sounds like her, to a point where I'm like, is Peter gonna start? When he goes back into space, are they gonna do a love triangle thing where Peter doesn't know if he wants to be with Nebula now? But so it was probably a good thing that he got off of nowhere and went to Earth, because I was thinking, a lot of people in that situation might have. Nebula probably wouldn't have, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, do they say in the comic book what Nebula's attracted to? Is she gay, or is she just asexual? I'm not interested in it at all. I wonder what she is in the comic book. Is she attracted to men? Did Tony Stark, hit it once, while they were stuck up there? You got nothing better to do. I mean, you might as well. But maybe Nebula's not even into that.
We also had, throughout the entire movie, the ongoing Cosmo is a bad dog.
Yeah, I knew that. That was a setup. I knew that they were going to finally resolve it in the end.
Take it back. No, you are a bad dog.
No, I'll take it back. I like the fact that everybody was annoyed with it the whole movie. Just take it back. No, I can't take it back if she is in fact a bad dog. And I like the fact that it hurt her feelings, but she didn't do anything about it really. She could have killed him.
But then finally, when she does something major, he's like, "Oh, you're a good dog."
Yeah.
She's like, "I knew I was a good dog."
Yeah. You didn't. He's like, "Oh, it's just a dog." Oh no, it's not just a dog. This is a good dog. And it all came together at the end. So I think the new Guardians of the Galaxy moving forward, I think better than how it was handled with the Avengers is going to be accepted. Like if they're doing a volume 5, I think people will be on board with. People will still be like, "I wish Peter Quill would come back," or here. But in the end of the movie, it tells you Star-Lord will return. Yeah. So obviously that's going to be in the Avengers movie, Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars. Obviously everybody's going to return. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4, will we see Gamora again? Maybe will she ever come back to the Guardians? Things like that. Or do we need them? I think Guardians could be a good test on just let's move on. Let's see what happens. We don't need to open a multiverse and bring all these people back. I want to now. I got a good trilogy with this group. I want to see what these new guys can do. I'm glad Rocket's still there. That's funny that he's the leader. I want to see how he leads it. Are we having lag issues? Maybe not, but it's probably not. But moving forward. But yeah, overall great movie. I enjoyed it. I can't wait to see. I'm excited about seeing the next Marvel movie. I'm really excited to see what James Gunn does with Superman now. We kind of got a hint of what he can do with the Superman type character, what he did with Adam Warlock. So I'm really looking forward to what James Gunn can bring to the table. Let's get out of here. Any final thoughts? Anything else you want to add before we close it up? Because we look like we're having technical difficulties here.
We're back. Well, it keeps going back and forth.
Oh, but anything?
No.
We're all done. All right, guys, that's the show. Appreciate you guys joining us on a late night on the Saturdays. We're going to get out of here. If you have any your thoughts, anything you want to add to the conversation, throw it in below. And just tell us what you think about Guardians of the Galaxy. So share your thoughts. Did you like the movie? Where do you rank it? What are you looking forward to in the next movies? What are you looking forward to coming from James Gunn? Until next time, appreciate you guys for talking with us. Thanks Peter for keeping us entertained in the chat. What did you say? We got 4 Avengers movies plus cameos. People need to accept that things end. Yeah. All good things must come to an end, just like the rundown. So, till next time, guys, have a good one.